One, two, 1, 2, 3, 4. What is up, everybody? Happy Sunday Fun Day. Me and my man Stu are here today. Big debut today, the debut of our original theme music for the show here at JC3 Cards and Collectibles. Written, arranged, and maybe performed by Stu as well. So let us know what you think of the new theme music. Something that we've been working on for a little bit. Wanted to get something original for the show. So I hope you like it. I wanted to come to you today to share a little bit of our weekly sales video. So if you are not familiar with us yet, I am a relatively new seller on eBay. I started in the first quarter, end of the first quarter in 2023. I work very closely with my friend Adam over at the Dollar Box. We actually do a live stream every Wednesday night. If you haven't checked it out, make sure you come on out Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Central. We do a live stream every week talking about selling cards on eBay. And we started that show as a way to look at a relatively new seller, which is me and Stu. And then conversely, talk about things with a very experienced, what I would call a power seller in Adam over at the Dollar Box. So as we started to do some videos here with JC3 Cards and Collectibles, it's a little different scale than maybe some of the other sellers out there on YouTube, but I wanted to share my journey as we got going on this and really got to a point where we felt like we really established something here at JC3 Cards and Collectibles. Wanted to share some of the processes, some of the pickups, and finally some of the sales that we make here as well. So I'm a very modest seller. I don't do a ton of volume. So this won't be a super long video. And we'll be a little more dry than some of the conversations and videos because I'm going to share some numbers with you. But I think it's part of the process. So if you haven't checked out already, you'll find some videos on our channel about the setup here that we use at JC3 Cards and Collectibles to really work through the business. We often share some of our pickup videos. One of the biggest places we pick up cards is at card shows. We'll share a little bit of how-tos. And this is the last step of that process when we get the sales and ship them out. So wanted to make sure I start to include a little information about our sales every week as well. And specifically, it's not so much about the volume of cards we push out because, as I said, it's a pretty modest number. What I thought might be helpful for some of you is to see who's selling and also get a little bit of a peek at the store performance. As some of you have heard us talk about on the live on Wednesday nights, at one point along the journey, I started to promote more things on the store. So we'll look a little bit at our impressions rate, our page views, whether they're organic or promoted, and then look at the specific categories of cards or collectibles that we're selling here this week. We'll look at a 7-day view, and that's going to go Sunday through Saturday. So today we're going to be talking about our sales January 14th through Saturday, January 20th of 2024. So with that, Stu and I will go ahead and get started. What do you think, Stu? I think he's up for that. So I thought one of the easiest ways to do this would really just share some of the stats that I put together. I'm going to go ahead and share a little presentation here, and we'll go full screen so you can see that a little bit better. Wanted to start with really what's happening in the store. So as I said a moment ago, at one point along this journey, I went from a basic store and really just no extra fee marketing strategies. Just list those things out there and let's see what happens. And then somewhere along the line, I really got sold on the idea of marketing and promotions. So what you'll see here is what the impact of that is on my store. If we look at the top there, we've got the impressions. This is how many times your listings are just one click away from a potential buyer out there, whether it's on eBay or out there in Google, wherever it may be. And you'll see that I am averaging anywhere from 100 to 125,000 impressions a day, which to me, when I think about the difference between being an eBay seller and a card show seller, it's really these impressions. I'm not going to get 125 possible buyers looking or at least seeing my cards at a card show. That is one of the biggest draws of eBay, is that they can really get your items out there. And as you look at that, you'll see I'm showing some growth there, up 14% over the previous week. And then the promoted listings is what really makes up the majority of that. So I do the dynamic promotions. So it will change daily based on where I need to be in a favorable position out there in the marketplace. And you can see nearly 80%, I would say, looking at those of my impressions are due to promoted listings. It really makes a difference. Now, what's really nice to see is that there's also a pretty static amount of listings that are out there just from organic listings, nothing extra on them. Why, you might be asking, why are there some organic and some promoted? Well, I do not promote my listings on day one of the listing process. I typically try to sell them for about 30 days before I will promote them and pay the extra marketing fees. I think that gives me a nice balance. You would be surprised how many actually still sell without any kind of promoted marketing. So that's the process I go through, is I will put them out there originally without any extra fees, see if they sell. 30 days later, if I'm still trying to sell those, I'll go to the promoted listings. And that, as you can see, really gets it in front of a lot more eyes. The second chart there in the middle, those are the page views. So that means somebody clicked on my listing and actually looked at that item description and information on a page. If you look at that, the number of the daily average is anywhere from about 150 to 200 page views a day. I'm pretty pleased with that. You know, if you look at some of the power sellers, like if you were to compare Adam over at the Dollar Box, his numbers are going to be a lot higher. He's had a store for a number of years. He's an established seller. But as a relatively new seller, for me to think of page views as foot traffic in your store. If impressions are people walking by and kind of looking in your storefront window and seeing what kind of stuff you have in there, page views are people that actually open the door and step inside with the intent of possibly buying something. So for me, if I see 150 to 200 people stopping in my store every day, I'm pretty happy with that. And there again, you can see some growth is happening in my store. Overall, on eBay, I'm up about 15.6% week over week. For external sites, so that's where Google comes in, up about 3%. So that I'm happy with both of those numbers. They continue to grow. To do that, I think the key is continue to feed the beast. eBay's got an algorithm they use to drive who they promote and how. The more you put into your eBay store, I think the more you drive that algorithm to work with your items. So the last chart there, those are actually my sold listings for the week. You'll see I've got 40 listings sold for the week. Again, some growth there, up about 21.2%. I am a part-time seller. I've got a full-time day job. I work anywhere from 40 to 50 hours a week with that. Sometimes it's in my career there. Sometimes it's been 70 or 80 hours. I just never know depending on what's going on. So my card selling work really happens during the off hours of that. So in the evenings, on the weekends, that's where I do the majority of my work. So 40 cards a week for me is a pretty good number. It's a scalable number. I can easily reach my 1-day handling time and get those items out. If you look at a per day, it's anywhere from, looks like this past week was anywhere from 4 to about 9 cards a day. That is, as long as it's steady, I'm okay with that right now where I'm at. Now, at some point in my life, this may be a full-time job. And when that happens, I'll obviously need more than that to support myself in a full-time type of role, right? But this is a good start for me. This is a foundation to build upon. I can pretty easily get 5 to 10 cards out when I get home from work. I often put out, I pack and ship 1 or 2 cards every morning when I get up. It's very manageable for me right now. So I'm pretty happy with where I'm at right now with the store. Obviously, I will look to continue to grow, but that's a good start. So let's go into what the heck am I selling? What were these 40 cards? And actually, I did notice as I looked through the numbers. So this, on the store performance, it'll say 40 cards sold. I had a little different results when I actually downloaded the specific item information. It gave me 39. I'm not sure why the discrepancy, but it did. I just wanted to call that out. That shows 40 listings in my performance, but when I did the item detail, it was 39. Negligible difference there. I'm sure it has something to do with the timing of the listing sold, whether it fell into that time period or not. So as you can see, of the cards I sold in the last week, the majority of them, well over a third of them, came from football. And that makes a lot of sense to me. We're in the playoffs for the football season. There's a lot of attention and marketing around football. You can't turn on the TV right now without seeing some of the NFL ads talking about the playoffs taking place. So I would expect football to be a number one seller. Basketball season's going on, so it's not a surprise to me to see number 2 in there at about 18% of my sales this week. Wrestling was number 3. Now, I know some sellers stay away from wrestling. They are not high volume movers. I will be the first to say that. I'm a big wrestling fan. My house is a wrestling household. My boys love wrestling. I'm surprised I can't hear them wrestling above me right now. But for me, I think they're fun. They're a fun thing for me to sell. I like going through them. I like picking them up at shows. I like listing them and checking them out. And then I get, they're not daily sellers, but I feel like I have some buyers that routinely come back to me looking for wrestling. So those are something in my store that I want to be, a pretty good known seller for wrestling cards. If you're looking for a wrestling card, I'd love if you think of JC3 Cards and Collectibles. Baseball, number 4 spot. Things will heat up there pretty soon. Spring training will start next month with pitchers and catchers reporting. We're in the off season, so you're going to have a little bit of a letdown with baseball right now, but that'll be picking up again, and I would anticipate that will move up quite a bit. The rest are some onesie-twosie type of categories, so you'll see some Star Wars in there. Excuse me, some random collectibles. I sold a model card this week, so I gave it its own category. Soccer, and I sold a Jackass card. It was a very unique Jackass card with Johnny Knoxville and some adult props. But I sold it this week. It was an interesting negotiation with the seller. He said, "Come on, man. I've got to be the only one looking for this card. And I said, you'd be surprised. It's got a lot of attention. In the end, we were able to make a deal on that. So there's a slogan that says, you can sell anything. You just got to find the right person. And I think that shows, that is absolutely true. So let's drill into some of the details. We'll start with football. I wanted to list it this way to kind of show you can see my titles. I don't have all the images of the sold cards, but I tried to put as many as I could put in the screen. So you can kind of see what my images look like. You can see how I structure my titles. There's a little bit of pricing information on there, and that's total cost. So, for example, that CJ Stroud, you can see 2 items sold for $450. The average item sale was $225 on that. Those were low end cards, but even so, big name. So, yeah, as we look at the football sales for this week, CJ Stroud is probably no surprise. He's had a remarkable season for the Houston Texans. Unfortunately, fell a little short this weekend in their playoff game. I would have loved to see him continue on because that his market has been going strong. So he led the way for me. A couple of his Sage and Leaf draft cards that I was able to sell in the last week. You see a wild card, Chris Rodriguez there. That was a card out of 2. So a little bigger dollar amount, and it was an auto card. Beautiful card. I do have the image there. You can see that in the left-hand column. That's a 5-card draw, vintage blue rainbow foil. That one, Wildcard is an interesting brand. They're all kind of custom cards. You can only get them off their website. I don't see a lot of them at shows. I don't see a lot in local card shops either. But they come up with some really cool images. So I've got some more of those. I'm hoping to sell those as well. Up ahead on the list, you'll see I actually sold the second one this past week as well. There's the other CJ Stroud, the Sage Low Series #1. One thing you'll notice with my listings, and we talked about this a little bit on the live last week, my personal choice is if I'm listing a card, I want to list the team that is represented in the image uniform. So I did not list these CJ Strouds as Houston Texans cards. I listed them as Ohio State Buckeyes. For a league, I will put NCAA versus the NFL. That's just a personal preference, to each their own. I hear a lot of different takes on that, but this is the way I do it. A nice combo card there, 2021 Panini Score 3D Purple, Charles Woodson, Deion Sanders, and Champ Bailey. You'll see that second card on the right-hand column there. Really cool-looking card. Makes it a challenge in my old organization system. I used to organize by sport and then by last name. When it's a combo card like that, I would say, okay, where do I want to put this in my listings? In this case, I put it at the end after the Z's as kind of a standalone card. If you listen to the live on Wednesday nights, you'll know that Adam and I have converted to a SKU system where we no longer organize with any concerns like that. We do a SKU by date, and it goes right into a team bag. Doesn't matter what sport it is or what name it is, it all goes in there. So, but pretty cool card. I knew I would be able to sell that one. That one went for $3. Obviously, that's a pretty good margin for me when I get most of these cards at card shows for, on average, less than 50 cents. Some much less than that. A few, a little bit more. Sometimes I'll pay up for a card if it's the right one. But most of these come out of the value boxes, dollar boxes, 50-cent boxes, quarter boxes, whatever it may be. So nice sale there. Then we get to the 2023 Wildcard Illumination Draft. That is in that bottom row of cards there, second one from the left. The Dynamite image with that, I believe that's a T-Rex looking to take a chomp out of Anthony Richardson there. Very cool card. There's not a lot of those. That one I was able to sell for $40. That was a great hit in that box from Wild Card. A Kyler Murray, I was a little surprised I saw the Kyler Murray. His market has been down for a while. I hit Kyler Murray cards pretty hard when I first got into the resale business. He had his injury. I was like, he's still a dynamic quarterback. I think he's still got a good future ahead of him. While the market's down, I'm going to buy a lot. But he didn't come back as strong as I had hoped. But as you can see, his cards will still move, especially, a Dominator's Prism like this. Pretty cool card. Was able to move that. 2021 Rookies and Stars, star-studded red plaid prism of Stefon Diggs, right in the bottom of the middle row. Doesn't surprise me with that one with the Bills in the playoffs yet. I tried to list as many Bills as I could here recently. That was one of the cards I listed. I think I've only had that listed for a week or so. Able to turn that one pretty quick. 2023 Panini Legacy Decade of Dominance Indigo out of 25, Jonathan Ogden. Bottom right corner, you'll see that card. That was a tough sell for me. You try not to get too emotionally attached on some of these. I was an old lineman in high school. I coach linemen in high school football. To see this one, I try to buy linemen a lot of times. I'm on a personal quest to make linemen relevant in the hobby. So I picked up this one, numbered out of 25. I had it on the shelf for a little while. I priced it, hoping that it wouldn't sell right away. I got $9.99, essentially $10 on that. I didn't know if that would sell pretty quickly, but within the first couple weeks here of having that out there, I was able to turn it. So I had to say goodbye to that one this week. 2017 Panini Donruss rated rookie Deshaun Watson. So another guy whose market was deflated. I don't have an image of him out here right now. I couldn't fit in all of them out here, but so I've had that card for a while with his issues the last couple years. I really saw the values drop on that one, but I finally decided let's put it out there, move it, get some return off of that one so I can put it into a different card. So I get $6.99 for that. Tucker Kraft, Panini Prism 2023 rookie card for Tucker Kraft of my hometown Green Bay Packers. He's had a great late season with Luke Musgrave out with an injury. Tucker Kraft stepped in, so I was able to turn his rookie card for $250. Aaron Jones, another hometown Packer here. That's Panini Contender. That was a Chain Movers card. I was able to sell that one for $1.99. That's a pretty plentiful card. I wasn't looking to get much out of that. 2014 Panini Prism die cut fresh faces Mike Evans of the Buccaneers. That's a rookie card die cut. Did not put that image out here. I probably should have, because that was a really cool card. That one I sold this weekend. Had some strong negotiations around that, but I eventually got the price I was looking for. Sold that one for $5.99. 2011 Panini Threads Heritage Collection Materials. This was a Mark Carrier for the Bears. So this was a little relic card. Sold it for $5.99. This was out of a box about a month ago here in Green Bay. There was a collectible show, not necessarily a card show, but there were a couple tables of cards at this collectible show at the KI Center here in Green Bay. This gentleman had a whole box of relics. It was pretty picked through by the time I got to it. But I thought, man, I might be able to make a play for a good buy out of here. Took about 30 relic cards out of there. I think on average I paid less than $1 for them, but was able to flip one of these Mark Carrier cards right away for $6. It was thin, so I'm able to ship it in a standard envelope for just 63 cents, which, quick note on that, those prices went up for Monday's ship date. Those are now 64 cents, but pretty happy with that sale. I've got a few more out of that buy that I've been able to turn as well. 2011 Panini. That was a repeat. The last one there is 1999 Topps Gold Label Class 3 Peerless Price rookie for the Buffalo Bills. This was a sharp card for 1999. It had a gold refractor type finish on it. Another card where I had a lot of rounds of negotiation on it. I just listed that Friday night, I believe, and I was able to sell that yesterday right away. I got $2.99 for that card. So pretty happy with those football sales for this week. It really drove the bulk of my sales this week. And I don't know that there was a lot of surprising names. Maybe the Kyler Murray and the Deshaun Watson surprised me the most out of those sales. But when you pick those cards and you decide to put them out there, ultimately you're expecting to be able to sell them. So it's not a total surprise, but really pleased to see what I got for them. All right, moving on to the next group. We've got some basketball sales for the week. Leading the way, it was a Steph Curry. He continues to be a big name in the resale market. I love these acetate cards. So you can see 2021-22 Panini Donruss Elite Deck acetate. So top left corner, you'll see that card. It's got that double image flipped top to bottom. And then it's the acetate, so it's the clear cards. I'm a huge fan of the acetate cards. I pick them up a lot. You'll see a number of them listed in my store. I was able to get $16 for this card. That's a little less than the going rate for this. I accepted a little bit lower offer. One of the rules of being a reseller is you got to take into account what you paid for that card. And I did not have to pay a lot for that card when I picked it up. So $16 represents a significant profit for me. Really happy with that sale. $98.99 Upper Deck SP Authentic Dennis Rodman. He continues to be a relevant name in the sport, even though it's a number of years since he last tied up the laces on the hardwood. A nice classy card of his. Nothing special on it, but I would say it's a classic image. When I grabbed it, I knew that it was something I'd want to list right away. Plus, it's the Lakers. Great fan base with the Lakers. I get $3 for that. 2021 Donruss Marvels, Joel Embiid of the 76ers. That's in the left-hand column. I'm a huge fan of the Marvels sets. I don't care what sport it is. I will pick those up regularly, and I sell quite a few of them. Was able to get $3.59 for that. I will also say Joel Embiid, I don't watch a lot of NBA basketball. He must have had a good week or so because the last couple weeks I've sold a few of his cards. 2021 Panini Flux Pulsar Prism of Larry Bird with the Celtics. Right-hand column there, you will see that one. I am a huge fan of the Flux sets. Anytime I see them in a value box, I pick them up. I don't really care who they are. Flux is a little bit higher end set. If you were to buy a box of those, they cost quite a bit. That translates to a per card basis. So I will get those because I think they're going to move well. I took a lower offer on this one. I got $2.20 for it. Could I have held out for more? Probably. But again, one of the rules of being a reseller is get what you can, flip it into another card to make that next sale. So up next, 2021-22 Donruss Optic Lime Green Prism of Rudy Gobert. He's the first one along the bottom row. Always nice to get a good prism that you can sell. That one's also serial numbered out of 149. I got $6 for that. 2021 Panini Obsidian Eclipse Electric Etch Red Flood of Domantas Sabonis. That is bottom row along the right. Any die cuts, I will pick up in a value box. That's like a no-brainer for me. If I can pay less than $1 for a die cut, there's a huge market out there for die cuts, especially if you can get one that's in good shape. There's no nicks in it. There's no bends, creases. None of those funky edges got messed up. And as you can see in the image, that one's in great shape. Plus, the etching on it is a unique touch. I don't see a lot of that. So I was able to get $5 on that one. Happy with that sale. And then finally, a good old Kobe, 2000-2001 Fleer Tradition, Kobe Bryant with the Lakers. Just a classic card here. I got $6 for that. Nothing flashy about that card, right? That's all about the name. That's all about the fact that it's Kobe Bryant. So when you're looking for cards in those value boxes, it's really a combination of what's got the looks and who are the names. And in this case, it was just about being a Kobe. I don't see a lot of Kobe's in value boxes either, so I pick those up just about any time I see them, as long as they're in good shape. So that's our basketball for the week. Let's move on to some WWE, AEW. Sometimes I'll sell as well. This week it happened to be all WWE, so I would call this my sports entertainment category. Sold 6 cards out of that this week. Up first, 2022 Premier Select WWE Premier Orange Flash Prism of Mandy Rose. Mandy Rose is a women's wrestler who is no longer in WWE, but her market remains strong. She is currently on OnlyFans, and that caused her to lose her job with the WWE. It was a contract violation. I think in one of those ambiguous, harmful to the company type of clauses in her contract. So as far as I know, she is not wrestling anywhere else, but her cards continue to sell for me. It helped that this one was an Orange Flash Prism, looked really cool. I got $6 for that. I had a lot of interest in this card over the last month or so. I would say I've been negotiating a lot. It's one of those cards I held out for my price, and I eventually got it. So 2022 Panini Chronicles Illusions, Booker T. You will see him in the top right column. That's a base card. Booker T is now an announcer. He doesn't wrestle anymore. He's also an instructor. I believe he has a wrestling school down in Texas. So he's responsible for training a lot of the younger wrestlers coming up now. I have a nice personal story with Booker T. Somewhere in my files, I've got a nice picture a friend snapped of Booker T and I in a stare down. Years ago, I was at an event here in Green Bay, and I managed to get a standing position right at the entrance where they walked into the arena. Their entrance during the show, that is. They didn't have a big stage set up back then. So as he was walking in, I started screaming to him about how much he sucks and things like that. And dude stopped and did a stare down with me, and it was awesome. Don't you think, Stu? Stu agrees. So his eyes got as big as plates, and he just stared at me for what seemed like an eternity. And my buddy snapped a picture of us in this stare down, and I will never forget that moment. So big kudos to Booker T for selling the show that night. He definitely hooked me. I was able to get $270 for his base card. Not a bad sale for a base card. Illusions are a great set for base cards. They sell pretty good. Up next, 2023 Panini Revolution, WWE Impact Prism out of 199, Kevin Owens. Second one on the left-hand column, that's him giving a stunner. He borrowed that move from Stone Cold Steve Austin and acknowledges him as a sign of respect for that. I believe he is stunning one of the Usos there. I'm not 100% sure. It's kind of tough to tell in that angle. But I love the Revolution sets. Just the design on those are very colorful. They're sparkly. In a word, they're fun. And fun usually sells in the card market. I was able to get $719 for that one. For a card numbered out of almost 200, $199 to be precise. That's a great price, great profit for a card with that many of them out there. Up next is a 2022 Panini Chronicles Absolute Solo Sikoa rookie card. He's in a major storyline right now in the WWE. He's in Roman Reigns' stable, the Bloodline. He is a family member of that whole Samoan family. Those are tricky because sometimes they're blood family and sometimes they're honorary members of family. But he is a brother of the Usos, I believe. So I've got one of his rookie cards I made the sale of this week. I got $1.80 for that. Next, a 2022, another Panini Chronicles, this one from the Origins set of Damian Priest. He's in the bottom there on the right. The Origins cards are nice. I like the design. They've got some good splashes of color. They're a clean card. So Damian Priest, another guy, he's in a stable right now, the Judgment Day. He's Mr. They call him Senior Money in the Bank this year. He won the Money in the Bank tournament last year, so he's got a cash in for a title coming up at some point. Has not used it yet. He's been close a couple of times, but it'll be interesting to see when he does that. And then finally, a 2006 Topps Heritage Chrome Carlito. Carlito is the bad apple. He likes to say that's not cool. He is, I believe, a second generation wrestler. What is interesting about this card is I just picked it up at the Oshkosh Wisconsin Herd Show, if you saw my video for that. So I've only had that for a week or so. I sold this card so quickly that I listed it last night, and before I could get it in a team bag, it was sold, and I got my $3.99 asking price. What does that mean? Well, that means I probably could have asked a little more. Sometimes that happens. It's a basic Topps Heritage Chrome card. Nothing special out of it. It's not numbered. I believe the draw for that and why I picked up a couple Carlito cards is because he was gone from the WWE for like 10 years or more. He had some trouble with the WWE in his first run when he was younger. He came back this last year towards the end of 2023, and he's in some major storylines again. So I think that built some excitement. For me, that meant pick up some of his cards because they probably haven't been out there for a while, and now people are going to be looking for them, and that paid off on this one. So good week on wrestling cards. I will continue to feature some of those in my store. Up next, I've got a little bit of baseball. As I said, we're in the off season. Spring training hasn't started yet. Didn't sell a lot of baseball, but I sold a few nice ones here. A 2000 Upper Deck Legends George Brett. This was a value box buy this past summer. Took me a while to sell one of those. I actually have a number of them, so I've got some quantity on that. Sold one for $1.75. 2022 Topps Update Series commemorative batting helmet for Bobby Witt Jr. of KC. Sold this one for $6.99. These ones are a little thicker. They're a little tougher to ship. I had to ship it ground advantage because of the thickness. Remember, eBay standard envelope. You have to be under a 1/4 inch thick, and these commemorative helmet ones are pushing that, and they're pretty heavy. So I recommend shipping them in ground advantage. To do that, you're going to have like $3.80 worth of shipping costs. So you've got to ask for a decent amount on these. If this wasn't a rookie card of a pretty prominent prospect, Bobby Witt, who's I would call him a superstar, I probably wouldn't have been able to get that. But $6.99 makes it worth shipping in that ground advantage. So I was able to sell him. 2023 Bowman Platinum New Money, Corbin Carroll. So Corbin Carroll, a rookie card of Corbin Carroll here. It's a kind of a unique illustrated type of insert. So traditionally, some of your portrait type profile cards are going to go for more money, or I guess I should say not necessarily more money, but they're more coveted by collectors. I was a little hesitant about this new money one because I think it's super cool, but it's also kind of gimmicky. I listed it, can't be more than 2 weeks ago now. So flip this one pretty quickly. I got $5 for that one. I will definitely list some more of those. Now, I will tell you also, Corbin Carroll's Rookie of the Year. He's a huge name in the hobby right now. That had more to do with selling it than the actual design, but I'll probably list a few more of these new money cards. Next, 2023 Topps Throwback Thursday. Vaughn Grissom, his rookie card from last year. I have quite a few rookie cards of Vaughn Grissom. Early on, his market was hot. He was going pretty well. It's cooled off a little bit. This is a particular set I bought off of Topps, an exclusive set. Got $5.25 for him just because of that limited availability, I believe. And finally, the 2023 Bowman Chrome Scouts Top 100 Prospects, Jackson Chourio of my favorite Milwaukee Brewers. Had to negotiate pretty hard with this one. I got $5 for that one. Jackson Chourio is a hot name for this spring, so watch for him. I believe he will make the big league roster this season. I think you're going to hear a lot about him when the new top set comes out. There's going to be a lot of people looking for him. So for me, the way I look at this one, I was able to do this buyer a favor, selling it for $5. I think I got him a steal, because if you give it 30 days, I think that card's going to be going for a lot more. So that's baseball for the week. That is the bulk of my sales. I'm going to throw one more slide out here, just kind of some of those random cards I sold, right? As well as a non-card item. So JC3 cards and collectibles includes collectibles on purpose, because we will sell some other items other than cards. Cards are always going to be the bulk of our business. But if we see a collectible that looks pretty cool and there might be a market for that, we will put it out there. And that's the case with item number 1 on this list, Curious George Collector Drinking Glass from Welch's Jelly. I got $13 for this glass. This was a return buyer, a repeat buyer. This was the second one he bought. He was trying to complete the set. He now has all 5 of this set thanks to purchasing 2 of that set from me. Had to charge about $13 because shipping on this is about $5. So probably made about $2.50 off of this one in the end, after taxes, fees, and shipping, and then our initial cost of goods sold. Not a bad return for this. But it's a cool item. I was happy to see some of those go. My wife actually brought this home for the store. She was happy to see it go as well. And that's one of the things about our store. It's really a family affair. My boys help, my wife helps, and I do a lot of work on it. We all contribute in some way, and that's one of the cool things about doing this business as a family. A model card. I was a little unsure if I would move any of these from Goodwin Champions. 2022 Upper Deck Goodwin Champions, Josephine Scriver. I actually sold a couple of these Josephine Scriver cards now. This is the second one for sure. I'm not sure what drives buyers in this market, but I'm happy that they exist, because you get quite a few of them in some of those obscure sets like that. And you're left saying, what am I going to do with this? I'm happy I found a channel that, will move some of those and sell some of those. So, I sold that for $1.79. Then we had my one soccer card for the week. I'm trying to grow some soccer in my store. I don't know a lot about it. I don't know all the names yet. I don't watch it a lot. But as I try to grow, I'm selling some of these and I'm learning. So, I sold a 2022-23 Topps Merlin Chrome Aqua Prism of Alejandro Garnacho. It's his rookie card. I sold that for $4. Merlin's a cool set. I like the look of them. I enjoy going through those when I get a box of those. Up next, I've got a Star Wars. Apparently, it was a week for Han Solo, because you'll see 2 Han Solo cards in this list. First, I sold a 1980 card from the Empire Strikes Back set. It's a star file insert. Top left corner, you'll see that one. I sold that for $2. If we jump ahead to the bottom card on the list, you'll see I also sold a 1977 Topps Star Wars Harrison Ford as Han Solo Blue Starfield. So that's the original set. I sold that for $5.50. That essentially is his rookie card. One of a few rookie cards in that set. Decent condition yet. I was able to pick that up pretty cheap at a card show, a recent Green Bay card show. I had a dealer looking to move all of his non-sports stuff, so he made me a sweet deal. So I'm a big Star Wars fan as well, so I love having some of those items in my store. I've got quite a bit more to list I need to get going on, but $5.50 on that Han Solo card was pretty pleasing to see. And then finally, a 2022 Zero Cool Jackass Behind the Lens Blue Refractor Johnny Knoxville card out of 50. You'll see that in the bottom row there. It is a very unique card. When I first got this out of a value box, I did not realize what was on that table with Johnny Knoxville. I actually thought they were giant crayons, and I'm going to stick with that. We're going to talk about this Johnny Knoxville card where he's got a table full of giant, colorful crayons. I got $5 for that card. That buyer told me it was a hard negotiation, and at one point he said, come on, man, it's a giant crayon card. Nobody wants this but me. But he actually was incorrect on that. because I will tell you that that card got a lot of interest in my store. I think it brought some people into my store who eventually then bought some other things. That is a lesson in marketing right there. That's a unique card. I don't know what the market is for a card like that, to be honest. I found a buyer. I was happy to get that price, but I was actually not in a hurry to sell that because that brought more foot traffic into my card. They would see that impression on a page. They would then click on that, go into my store and start looking around at other things and then buy some other cards. I wholeheartedly believe that's how that card impacted my store. So I was a little sad to see that go. You know, at some point you have to say goodbye to some cards, even if you're maybe you're tugging at the heart a little bit on those cards because they're cool. Like I said with that Jonathan Ogden card today. But at some point, you're in this to turn a profit and make a living, right? For me, the goal with my store is that I'm setting up for a future day where when I'm retired from my primary day job, this is my additional income on the side, my side hustle, if you will, in retirement. Gives me a reason to get up every day, still go to work a little bit, make a little extra cash in along the side of my 401k and my social security disbursements. Gives me a little something extra, something to get up for every morning. And I love that idea. That's what I'm working towards. So that's my sales for this week. I hope you enjoyed going through them. Hope you like the format I used. I know for me, because I sell a lower volume and I ship in 1-day handling, it's not really effective for me to have a stack of cards that I'm going to go through on a second camera here or anything, because I've got to move those out before I make a video at the end of the week. My goal here is every Sunday I'm going to try to put together a recap of my previous week's listings. Let me know if you like that, if you want to see more of that. If you want to see something else in the format, if there's something I didn't show you that you're interested in, let me know. Give me a thumbs up and a sub if you like what you're seeing. Feel free to share this with others you think might like it. Hope you enjoyed the new theme music. You'll hear more of that. So until next time, this is me and Stuart saying peace out.